could see me, but you did. All I know is we're here, that they took us somewhere. So what they say we're calling, falling out of line. They don't know the two of us are colorblind. Yeah.
What's going on, guys? Got a quick little fixer-upper project. My subwoofer box that I built back in like Christmas of last year. Actually, I think it was before that. I think it was actually November. So when this thing got completed. My customer says, "Hey Nate, I got a crack. It just showed up like 2 weeks ago. Some birch wood right there, cracked right in half." I wasn't too happy about that, so I said, you know what, bring it back and I'll put some epoxy in there. And I tinted the epoxy to the walnut with some walnut stain to help, because it did kind of go up the wall here, and filled it up. 5-minute epoxy, sanded it, did a quick refresh on the sand, and some more satin wipe-on polyurethane to finish it off. But like I tell all my customers, I do give a 2-year warranty on the enclosures. And then obviously, depending on what happened to the subwoofer, I mean, if you're being belligerent and stabbed a hole in it with a knife, I'm not going to cover that. But if it legitimately gets a hole poked into by accident, as long as it's Dayton audio, we can get the stuff replaced. And then with the enclosures, sometimes the wood likes to crack. I built some shelves in my house out of this. Is birch wood. The other round enclosures for this little 2.1 desktop stereo are made out of cherry, which is a lot more dense. The birch is, well, pretty dense. It's probably harder than pine, but it likes to crack a lot. And it took like a year for the ones in my house to crack. So I was not too happy about that. I just started splitting. The walnut seems to be pretty strong. You know, once you soak up a few coats of polyurethane, I got to sand the joints, because like the end grains will expand out, maybe like a 32nd of an inch at most. But now she's all sanded back up, and she should stop moving now. Wood does funny things when it sits in the house. I built a table for my mother with epoxy on it. It was an ash table. It was a cookie. So it was cut, you know, against the grain, not with the grain. And it sat in the house for 3 years, and all of a sudden my dad sends me a picture, says, "Hey, you have a crack that wide." It starts up from the top and kind of tapers into the center. And the crack was like a foot long. I'm like, it was never there when I built the table. So, shit happens. Wood is real, and it has a mind of its own sometimes. But anyways, she loves this setup with the 12-inch passive radiator. I did add a whole like 3/4 inch nut for extra weight. I just felt like it was kind of struggling below like 35 hertz. Now it gets right down to 30, and does pretty good. And for the subwoofer, this is a reference. It's a Dayton Audio reference 210 HF, high fidelity. They say they're 280 watts RMS. This is powered off the Dayton Audio 2.1 DTA 2.1. It's got 100 watts for the sub. It's just at 4 ohms. This is a single 4 ohm sub, and it has more than enough power to make this thing about jump out of the box. So if you're ever thinking about getting one of these for a low power application, perfect. Don't go shove a Dayton Audio SPA 250 to it and expect it to survive, unless it's in a real, like a half cube sealed box. You know, you got the extra pressure to help back you up. It never got smelly on the 100 watts on it when I was free airing it. Even when I was doing some testing with the Dayton Audio SPA 250, this little guy survived the test of time. It would just bottom out, and I never got the coil stinky. So highly recommend. I got it on like a I actually got this up a couple years ago and just kind of sat on the shelf, but I got it on like a display item from Dayton Audio at Parts Express, and I got it for I think like $104. These are usually $140, and it was still brand new. It was just sitting on the shelf. But yeah, like I was saying, guys, on all my enclosures, I do have a warranty, because sometimes you just can't predict the, this thing just cracking right in half on you. All right, later, guys. Maybe we'll get another demo video of this thing sometime in the future. My customer's kind of far away, so peace.